We ladies are frequently informed that our appearance changes with age. But what if there's more to the story than that? What if the actual change that makes us appear older, heavier, sharper, or softer has nothing to do with how many years we've lived and everything to do with the lines, shapes, and shadows we apply to our faces? I wanted to show you something almost miraculous today, ladies. The majority of adult women are unaware of this unless someone points it out. Your face doesn't appear worn out just because you're older. It's not wrinkles. It's not gray hair. It has nothing to do with the year on your birth certificate. The framing is the problem. The way your haircut accentuates or conceals your features, the way your neckline curves, the way volume is positioned around your jaw, the color next to your cheeks, the shadows cast by length, layers, side-swept strands, and even the smallest movement of hair around your temples. The examples I'm going to give you will make this very evident. The same woman, the same skin, eyes, smile, and everything else. However, her entire perspective of age changes as soon as the frame is altered. Because of the way her hair and neckline frame her face, she can appear 5 years older or 10 years younger in a matter of seconds. This is the bit that no one discusses, particularly with older ladies. You don't have to have thick hair. It doesn't have to be lengthy. It is not required to be flawless. When positioned correctly, even the lightest, softest, and most delicate strands can completely change your face. Your hair is more than just hair. Architecture is what it is. It's scaffolding. Your features can be lifted or lowered by the shadows it casts. The nicest aspect is that there aren't any significant changes. You don't have to start over. You don't have to appear younger. All you have to do is present yourself in a way that respects the woman you are now. I want you to remain intrigued throughout this video. I want you to be honest. You will perceive yourself differently by the end. Therefore, I urge you to allow yourself to be shocked. You'll see why some necklines make you appear heavier, why some hairstyles add years, and how small changes can completely change your appearance. I also want you to remember one thing while you watch. You're not here to pursue youth. You are here to show who you really are. Your face tells a tale. Today, we're selecting a frame that highlights its beauty. Shall we get started? I want us to start with your hair, which outlines your identity every single day before we even discuss clothing, necklines, or accessories. Because we haven't yet discussed clothing in this initial portion. We're not discussing colors, earrings, or anything else. We're going to get right to the core of how people's perceptions of age are shaped long before your attire comes up. I also have a question for you. Does your hair appear to lengthen your face downward or raise it upward when you look at it in the mirror? Just that little element can make you appear younger, lighter, and more defined, or older, weary, and heavier. I'll demonstrate what I mean. Take note of what catches your eye when you glance at this picture. The lower face is emphasized, precisely where the majority of women naturally become fuller or softer as they age. The jawline is surrounded by shadows. Everything is pulled downward by the weight of the hair. The face appears broader, less defined, and slightly more worn out as a result. However, many of us are unaware of this fact. She doesn't appear unattractive. She has lovely face features. She has a lovely smile. She has a lovely presence. The shape of her hair is the only thing working against her. Long hair that is immobile. Hair that is heavy and unlifted. Hair that centers all of its weight around the jaw. Even if a lady is not obese at all, these items can subtly add years and visible weight to her face, and I truly want you to hear this. Even before you put on makeup or put on a dress, The structure of your hair can add or subtract years. We now go on to the following part. Your hair will instantly age you if it mimics the direction of your facial lines. What way are your facial lines genuinely moving in then, is the true question. The face naturally changes as we get older. Everything has a subtle upward tension when one is young. Brighter eyes, a strong jawline, and fuller cheeks. Over time, those lines start to descend. Although it's a natural shift, the eye instinctively follows the southward flow it creates. That effect is doubled when the hair descends in the same direction. The face may then look heavier or more worn out than it actually is. However, once you realize that anything that contrasts with those downward lines can quickly revitalize your appearance, making styling much simpler. To help you understand how this operates, let's examine the key regions. The cheeks are one. We lose lift in the first place. The cheek line naturally slopes downhill towards the mouth or jaw, as volume drops in the upper cheeks and settles lower. Your sagging will be reinforced if you have lengthy layers that collapse at the cheek, hair that curls downward and inward, or cuts that hug your face. Selecting forms that move upward or outward at the cheek might be a preferable strategy. Where the face has lost lift, this gives it back. The second is the marionette lines, or the vertical pull around the lips and the nasal label. When elasticity varies, these lines travel straight down. Thus, it precisely matches those lines when hair ends at the lips, curls spiral downward, or volume is low. The end effect is a look of quick aging. To create a visible lift, it is preferable to position the movement above the lips, at the temples, crown, or upper cheek. The next softening that most women perceive is in the neck and jawline. Over time, the jawline softens and descends towards the neck. Your haircut draws attention to the place where the jaw softens, adds weight at the jaw, or curves downward. Selecting a cut that lifts away from the jawline is a preferable strategy. The jawline seems more defined with outward flips, upward moving layers, or slightly elevated volume. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you're having fun and learning something new. It aids in the channel's expansion and informs me that the women, these small beauty aha moments, are intended to assist or receiving them. Let's go on. Fourth, the lowering outer corners are the eye direction. As people age, their eyes' outer corners naturally lean downward. That tilt is emphasized by fringe or layers that slope in the same way. Choosing shapes that lift or move outward at the outer corners is a superior strategy. Airy fringe, delicate fringe, or face-framing elements that shift away from the face. This is what I mean now. Examine the picture on the left. Both her hair and the outer corners of her eyes have a downward inclination. The impression is doubled when the hair mimics that slant. Look at the image on the right now. The fringe rises and spreads. The natural downward tilt that occurs with aging is countered by that tiny bit of direction, which instantly brightens the eyes. What is the fundamental idea now? As people age, their facial wrinkles travel downward. Therefore, instead of moving downward to counterbalance them, your hair should travel upward or outward. This explains why a slight outward flick at the ends, volume at the top cheek, or a little crown lift may make such a dramatic change. It produces a soft reverse pull that visually elevates the entire face. Your hair should direct the viewer's gaze upward, emphasizing your features rather than the lines that surround them. Ladies, you may be wondering why I decided to concentrate on hair rather than clothes this time. Let me tell you the truth. I received an invitation to a small gathering earlier in December. The majority of the attendees were co-workers I had known for years. One of them was a woman I knew well at the time. She was in her 40s when we last had a genuine connection. She was now in her 50s. more than 10 years later. And I'll tell you what prevented me from moving forward. She didn't appear younger than she did when I first met her, but it wasn't the kind of younger we usually meet. Her presence had altered, not her age. She had the gentle lines that come with living. However, she appeared brilliant, light, and remarkably alive. And I wasn't the only one who noticed. Everyone in the group sensed it. The room was filled with a hushed consensus. She had changed in some way. She contacted me later that week and asked if we could get together. She told me something as we sat down, and she is aware of this channel. Share what I said today, please. My life was altered by it. She told me that she was unaware that her hair had been silently weighing her down and dulling her presence for years. However, something changed as soon as she realized how to use her features rather than struggle with them. Not only externally, she declared, "I feel beautiful now." It had taken her many years to pronounce that words with genuine meaning, so she stopped. I came here for that reason. Because the transformation happens instantly when your hair finally supports you, lifts rather than drags, and frames rather than hides. It's not only that you appear different, you have a strange feeling. You appear in a different way. You give yourself permission to be observed. And this is my way of saying thank you to her and all the women in this community who provide value, wisdom, and real-life experience. Please get in touch if you've learned something while watching that has made you feel more like yourself. Together, we can work on it. You don't realize how important your story is. I made the decision to share today's film, which shows how to look elegant with a big waist, with my members. The URL is provided below. It's all about making subtle, deliberate adjustments that subtly change a complete ensemble without making your body shift. I'll give this to you. One deliberate decision at a time. Beauty is shown rather than made. Please like, subscribe, and follow me here if this resonates with you. You will have a place in this discussion.